I'm sorry if I'm sounding a little bit under the weather this morning, a little bit worse for wear. I was out at a Eurovision party last night. Now, the plan was to go there and drink a drink from every different nation in the Eurovision. You can probably guess what happened. I turned up, they had about 3 different countries represented. They had some Russian vodka, they had some Irish Guinness. I mixed all that up with a little too much cheap German lager, and now I have a headache this morning, so if there are any kids listening, bear that in mind. You will feel rotten. After you drink too much, you will get a headache the next day, and you will feel rubbish. So there you go, learn from my example. But it showed once again just how out of step I am with the tastes of the European voter, because I thought the French entry by Sébastien Tellier was going to walk it. But no, I'd tell you how well he did if you didn't see it. He didn't even make the top 10, which was very disappointing. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you now. I'm going to play that Sébastien Tellier Eurovision entry in full. This is called Divine.
I'm going to just close my eyes and pump.
Chris Chopping on Radio Glamorgan.
Anyway, I don't know if anyone else caught in the week a programme that was on, James Dolan Meets the Smallest Man in the World. It was about 3 men that James Dolan went to go and see and talk to, and they were each possibly the shortest man in the world. There's various reasons why it was a bit up in the air, and there wasn't a definitive answer. One of them was a bit young to qualify. One of them had a disability that meant that you couldn't measure him properly, and the other one just seemed like a bit of a mean fella, really, to be honest. Yeah, there was one called, I think his name was Sitendra, who was 67 centimetres high, and he had a brittle bone condition that meant he couldn't really move around very much. He couldn't do a lot of things without his bones snapping and his joints sort of healing badly, and it was it was a bit sad, but he was actually playing Wii Sports for exercise. He said he couldn't do proper exercise, that was too strenuous for him and dangerous. And to be honest, as someone who's spent the past few weeks trying to build an exercise regime around Wii boxing, I felt a bit put to shame, to be honest, by that. And James Dolan, he was actually talking about one of the short men, and he said the actual condition he had was called primordial dwarfism. Now, I know there's a lot of different terms that are used for, really short people, whether it be midgets, dwarfs, porgs, persons of restricted growth. I'm all for being politically correct and calling people whatever they want to be called, and some people might take exception to being referred to as a dwarf, and, that's their right, and I wouldn't want to offend them. But I tell you what, if someone said to me, you've got primordial dwarfism, personally I'd say, alright, dwarf, that bit's fine, less of the primordial, thank you very much. You make it sound like I've just crawled out of a swamp, half formed. I don't know how they can, call it that. That to me seems like the bit that I would get upset about. I don't know. Maybe it's just my opinion. I would ask Trainee Patrick, but he doesn't seem to have turned up this week, and Fogg's not answering his phone either. So what can I do? I throw it open. In the unlikely event that anyone out there listening has an opinion, feel free to get in touch.
I'm just going to close my eyes and pump.
Chris Chopping on Radio Glamorgan.
I've managed to track down Fogg and get him on the phone, so we could still rescue this car crash of a show this afternoon. Hello, Fogg, are you there?
Hello, Chris.
I've actually had a question in from a listener. He wanted to ask us to answer a question on air. He's been in touch, and it's actually more of a question for me than it is for you, but I think you'll enjoy it anyway. Okay. And his name's Andy Chandler, and I think he must have been looking at my photograph on the Radio Glamorgan website that you can find at www.radioglamorgan.com. The question he wants to ask is, he says, you look about 9 years old. Do you need to take Fogg with you when you buy White Lightning?
Right.
Which I think is, a little unfair. Firstly, Andy, I would like to point out that I'm far too classy to drink White Lightning. I much prefer Snakebite and Black because I'm sophisticated. But no, I don't have to take you, do I, when I go to the off-licence?
Well, you say this. I don't know is the answer. I mean, I've not had to take you before, but that doesn't mean that you wouldn't have to take me if you did go.
It might be that I just never buy alcohol.
Exactly.
But at the pub, I go up to the bar and get my own drinks in.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
that's not an off-licence, you see.
I do always have to make sure I do carry ID on me. That's not quite the same thing.
So I've been with you and you've been ID'd a few times as well. But.
Yeah,
Vigilant stuff. Well, that's all that is.
that's, I can't help my youthful looks. I think 9 is a little bit much, but
A little bit much. Well, you'd go for 8, do you reckon?
Oh no, yeah, well, I'm making it sound worse now. About 7.5. But then I go out with 18-year-old girls and they think I'm really mature for my age. That's a lie, of course, that never happens. I never get to go out with 18-year-old girls. No, but the worst example was when I went to a newsagent, when I was a student, I went to a newsagent's to buy a copy of Viz magazine, and I got ID'd then. And bear with me, Fog, there's someone trying to get my attention on the phones. Just talk for a bit, will you, to the listeners?
Yeah, okay. If there are sort of a lot of people listening, I think they should probably ring in and tell Chris what kind of show it's been today. Because as he rang me, he did say that he'd been unsure, bit of a car crash, as he mentioned earlier. So I think if we could get people to ring in the show and give him some either abuse or helpful hints as to how he can improve it, then he'll much appreciate it. He'll become a better person in the long run for it, and obviously the show would.
What have you been saying?
Nothing at all, Chris.
Well, that was someone on the phone wanting to know if I knew how much it would cost to set up an internet radio station. Unfortunately not. Was that you singing in the background?
That wasn't me singing, no.
Who was that singing in the background?
That was a customer.
This is getting very messy, very sloppy. Let's pull this together. Right, anyway, as I was saying, the worst occasion of me being ID'd was when I was a student. I went to get a copy of Viz Comic in a newsagent, and I got ID'd for that. I think you need to be about 16 to buy that, and I was about 20 at the time.
I didn't even know that you needed to be a certain age to buy it.
Well, it has got some quite naughty subjects in it, some bad language and stuff like that, so it's maybe an idea to have some ID if you're very young, but I think I was about 20 and I was about 16. All my mates were pointing and laughing. The lady behind the counter got quite defensive. She was saying, this is my job, I have to do this, you can't have a go at me. And I was saying, look, honestly, they're not laughing at you, this is all at me. So, yeah, that was fun. Anyway, I know you asked me to look up a track for you. You wanted me to find, because Munster won something or other in some sporting event yesterday, is that right?
That's correct.
The Heineken Cup. Stuart Riley's here. He's got that information. He says it's the Heineken Cup as well. And
nice to see you again. Nice to speak to you. To you both.
How's it going, Stuart?
Hi, not bad. Obviously a good result yesterday for the Heineken Cup last night. Done the planes last night down the airport. They were parked down the airport, so went down there last night. Chaos down there basically. But yeah, quite a good game. Good. I would say, did you go to the game yourself?
I did, yes, yeah.
You did?
Managed to get tickets. Fantastic atmosphere inside.
Oh, it was. It was.
Out of a 70,000 capacity stadium, a good 65,000 was Munster fans and just a few French.
And you wanted me to track down a song for you, is that right? For that celebrate that particular victory?
Yeah. Have you managed it?
What was the song you wanted?
The Fields of Athenry.
The Fields of Athenry. Well, actually, I didn't manage to track that down, but to be fair, you did tell me about this about 10 p.m. last night when I was at a party.
Yes.
So I think there's blame on both sides.
Yeah. Well,
But there was another sporting event that was on this week. Manchester United won the European Championship against Chelsea.
Moving swiftly on, Bath have just won the European Challenge Cup as well. Just beat Gloucester 20.
Again, if you're going to want me to play these songs for sporting events, you have to let me know well in advance, Fog. I haven't got a Bath-related song.
I wouldn't ask you to play a Bath-related song.
Well, luckily, I have got a song that relates to Manchester United winning the European Cup. You'll be pleased and probably surprised to learn.
Shocked.
Shocked. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll play it now for everybody. This is Fog singing along with Status Quo and the Manchester United squad with Come On You Reds, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody happy with that?
Cool.
No.
Yeah, lovely. Go on then.
What's that, Fog?
I said no.
I'm sorry, you're being drowned out by the music. I can't hear you. I'm going to have to let you go.
Oh, you're
This
just saying
is
that.
Fog and Come On You Reds.
Busby babes, they always made me cry. Charlton, Edwards, Laura and Georgie Best. Man United, here we go.
I'm just going to close my eyes and pump.
Chris Chopping on Radio Glamorgan.